Okay, so for today's commander, I have Urza Chief Artificer. This is the new precon that just got announced recently, and they said that they were doing something interesting with this one. And I think that there is an avenue in which we dive deeper into what they're doing, and that is old border commander decks. So every card in these decks is going to be old border. Now we don't know what's in them yet, but we do know Soul Ring, Command Tower, things like that are obviously going to be in there. So I'm not going to include those in the cards that I think we should put in. But thanks to promos, Modern Horizons 2, Time Spiral Remastered, and other such things, there are a lot of old border cards that are really cool that I think could go in the deck, right? Like, obviously, old border Urza looks really good in the deck. Bolus the Citadel works in the deck. Cranial Plating is awesome in the deck. Skull Clamp, it may or may not be good. I would do some tuning first before I definitively say, hey, this card fits in the deck. But Dramatic Reversal for Isochron Scepter. I don't believe there's an old border version of Isochron Scepter, but if you just want to run all old border, I think Dramatic Reversal is still a good card just to untap all your creatures. So I think that's worthy of a consideration. But I think you should run the Urza lands. It's an Urza deck. You should play the other Urza. You should run the Urza lands. I think that would be a really cool to have a nod to Urza's powerfulest lands, you know? Okay. And so also something else came out recently, the Warhammer decks, okay? So, one of the Warhammer decks was super artifact focused. And I think a lot of those cards fit in this deck because those were really powerful commander decks. So these are the ones that I think are really, really strong. Like, their name is Death. Destroy all non-artifact creatures. A board wipe specifically for this deck. I think that's great. Biotransference turns all creatures into artifacts. So even Urza is safe from their name is Death. I think that's awesome. Deny the Witch is an Esper counterspell, but it is in the deck. So I think it could go in there as well. And then there are numerous other cards on the list. The list will be in the description, but I think these all go in. Tazin the Infinite is just awesome, right? If you have your 2 combo pieces in the graveyard, you can just do stuff with it. It'd be really great. And Crypto Thrall, other artifact creatures you control have hexproof. Awesome, easy include. Problem is, these decks are currently at 94.97 at the time of recording this, and that is very expensive for a precon, especially if you're just looking to nab a couple cards out of this, put it in an Urza deck that you're also going to have to buy separately. So something to keep in mind. I hope some of these cards get reprinted in the Urza deck in Old Border, but that may just be wishful thinking. So I guess I'm going to tack on a little caveat that if your budget is pretty high, probably include the Warhammer cards. But if not, if you want to be more budget conscious, I think these are some good options. These are auto includes. If you don't want to go old border, you don't want to, go big budget. A lot of these cards are relatively cheap and they're very powerful in the deck. Mystic Forge is just a heavy hitter in this deck. Dance of the Mance is really great to rebuild your board. Word of Invention helps go get value artifacts. Oswald, he's artifact pod, right? And he's even 2 mana to be an artifact pod. I think that's really, really strong. Emery helps you rebuild as well. Ethereum Sculptor is an artifact creature, and it helps you cast your artifacts. There are other similar Ethereum Sculptor effects, but I think it's like Joyra's something, and that thing is like 4 mana. You can include it, but I just think at 4 mana to reduce your spells by 1, you're playing a lot of creatures. It's not really a combo deck where you want your artifacts to be free. But you can, right? If that's the route you want to go, you can do that. Organic Extinction, destroy all non-artifact creatures. It's a lot more mana than the other one. So, but it does have improvise. It tries, right? I think it's good. Shimmermere, really good to help you play on your opponent's turns to get more artifact creatures. You can surprise them with blockers. I think that's a really good auto include. Unwinding Clock, you just untap all your creatures on each other turn. That's really strong. And you untap mana rocks and stuff like that. Usually it's a combo piece or just like a huge mana piece, but I think here it's really great for keeping up blockers and giving everything basically vigilance. I think that's awesome. These are like the big combo. Like, I wouldn't call Tempered Steel a combo, nor would I call Jin Kataxis a combo. But these are like your big hitters. Sword of the Meek, Thought Foundry are a combo, right? That in itself is like a huge combo and just steal games with it, right? But Tempered Steel, I think, is just a good, strong card that you should be digging for to play as much as you can, because this will close out games. Jin Kataxis is also something that will help you close out games. If you're copying all of your artifact spells at least once per turn, and you're countering theirs, that's just such value. Strategies I think don't work are things like Time Sieve and Clark Clan Ironworks, right? I think sacrificing our creatures here for value is not really where the deck wants to be going. I think there's better KCI decks. I think there's better Time Sieve decks. You can build those decks with this shell, but I think with a precon, it typically you want to stick to the theme of the commander. It seems weird to go against that by playing these combos. If you have an infinite budget, I think all of the 0 mana positive mana rocks, they all got to go in, right? They make the Urza token huge, and they help you cast Urza so fast. Mox Diamond is probably a risky include for some, because I think the deck may run land light, so if you have these cards laying around, or if you have the budget, or your playgroup is proxy friendly, these cards are definitely auto includes. They do make the deck a lot stronger, so I would definitely talk to your playgroup about whether these cards are a little too strong. Mox Amber, probably not too strong, right? Because it requires you to have your commander, because most of the cards aren't legendary other than, I think, Emery and like very few others. Mox Amber, I don't think is too strong, but Mana Crypt, Mana Vault, Chrome Mox, Grim Monolith, uber powerful cards in this deck. The mana base is super cheap though, and that's really great, right? The artifact lands from Modern Horizons 2, the original artifact lands, things like Inventor's Fair, Glimmer Void, Spire of Industry, they've gotten reprints. There's no real deck that plays them, so they're just super easy to snag up right now. And if you want to play an artifact heavy deck, these are auto include, because these pump your Urza tokens just for playing your land drops, and I think that's really strong. And you know, some of these don't do that, but what they do is I think equally as powerful. And so that's the deck. These are the cards that I think should include, don't include. What are your thoughts? I'm gonna have the deck in the description, like I said, and tell me what you think. Okay, really quick, editor Stefan, for the end of the video, I am gonna stream these decks that I upload. So if you want to check that out, it's gonna be twitch.tv/itshercules. Stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at the very least. Sometimes Thursday, Friday. And I'm gonna be playing all the commander decks except this specific one, because Warhammer's not added and this deck's not out. But I wanted to make a video on it. I wanted to talk about the deck. But you can see me play all the other decks that I talk about this week and upcoming videos on stream on Magic Online. And if you play Magic Online, feel free to come in and we can play together. I think it'll be really fun. Thanks.